love those stories. So, I am going to jump right in. These, I think, are like my favorite videos to make, and I haven't made one in a hot minute, so I'm excited. I have on my blue light glasses because I get migraines often from looking at screens all day and then being on my phone so much, which I know is, but it is what it is. I hope that the phone screen in my glasses isn't too obnoxious, because it is to me, but hopefully you're just listening and relaxing and not looking at my glasses. Okay, so let's start with this one from Creepy Encounters. And this user is Drama Affectionate 381. And this is titled, Reddit, I feel like I am about to lose my mind. Hello, I, 27, female, am married to my husband, 31, male, and we have 2 children, fake names, Isaac, 8, male, from my first marriage, and Deanna, with my now husband, 5, female. I am new to Reddit, so I have no clue as if this is even the right subreddit for my situation. I am very distraught right now because I have been seeing this woman almost everywhere I go, and I have no idea if this is happening by coincidence, and I am trying to be calm as I write this. I am also not great with English, as it is not my initial language. This whole situation started somewhere around May 2022, where me and Isaac were at the local park, just doing our thing. My son was just playing with some other child at the monkey bars when I saw this woman approach me. She had red hair, pretty sure it was natural, and her face seemed tear-stained. I became concerned as I thought she was crying. I proceeded to ask her what was wrong, if she was all right, but she kept staring at my son, and the more she looked at him, the more she sobbed. Then all of a sudden, she sprints to him, running, screaming, "Michael." She kept calling him that, and it freaked me out. I mean, she was running to my kid and calling him a different name. My son and the other child got scared, and I approached them before she did, as I was faster than her. I then screamed at her to get lost, but she just stood there as I held my son and seemed pretty enraged. She then muttered some things, but I could not hear her, and she stomped away. The other child's father and I talked for a bit, and he seemed alarmed by what happened. He predicted that she was probably a grieving mother and that my son looked like the child she lost. I was still disturbed and took my son home. Since then, I have been afraid to take any of my children to any public areas despite my husband's reassurance. We'll skip to June 2nd, 2022. I get a call from my school stating that a woman, who was a new volunteer for lunch duty, kept mentioning that my son was her Mikey Bear and that she had been looking for him for years. They told me that another volunteer who had been working with her reported this. I was scared as hell, and I acted immediately by signing my kids out for the day. When I called the school the next day, I was informed she was no longer there, so I became pretty freaked out. Skip to last week, July 13th, 2022. It was Deanna's 5th birthday, and we decided to host it at a park in my in-laws' hometown. Everything went well, although I was paranoid. It was then somewhere around 9 p.m. when we began tidying up, and as I looked at many oak trees behind, I could have sworn I saw her. I screamed at the top of my lungs and started chasing after her, but somehow she got away. Ever since, I have not seen her, but I feel like this is not the end of it. You know, a part of me is like, that's really sad for that woman, whether she have something going on mentally, I guess she would probably have to. But is that because she was, put through something traumatic, which is really, my stomach just made a sound, which is really sad, honestly. But terrifying nonetheless, I'm sure as a mother, somebody running after your child and screaming and, then showing up at your child's school, obviously for that reason, and talking about your child in that way, and borderline stalking your child, that's terrifying. So yeah. On to the next then. This one is called Being a Good Samaritan Almost Put Me and My 3-year-old Daughter in Danger. And this user is apprehensive dig 878. This is another story that happened on my rural country road about 6 months ago. I posted the first story, happened in high school as well, but thought both stories were too long to include in one post. I'll have to go read that one. But anyways, I should have made the title, Being a Good Samaritan Put Me and My 3-year-old Daughter in Danger. There was no almost to it, but I can't figure out how to delete that word. So anyways, here is my story. I am a single mom of a 3-year-old little girl. I'm so blessed that I have the most amazing parents who live about 20 minutes away from me, who keep her when I need them to. I live in the city next to their rural area, and you have to go down a curvy, wooded, rural road to get to their house out in the country. My little girl had spent the night with them the night before, and I headed out to their house the next day around lunchtime to eat with them and bring her back to our house. It was a pretty day, sunny, a lot of bikers out though, so I was on high alert driving there, as anyone speeding and not paying attention could easily hit a biker, which is a big fear of mine. I got there fine, ate lunch with them, and was headed back to my house driving on the rural road, which I know like the back of my hand and typically speed on, knowing when to slow down and take certain curves, etc. My little girl requested I put on her favorite songs in the car, so I was kind of watching her sing as she sat in her car seat in the back of the car through my rear view mirror. As we drove back home, I caught a glimpse of something blue up ahead, just on the edge of the woods near the road. I was going fast enough that the image didn't quite set in as I approached, then passed it, but right after passing it, my brain finally processed that it was a blue, older car. It was flipped upside down and was rammed into a tree. The road was empty, with only one house near, and there weren't any ambulances or cars near, so at first I was like, what the hell? Truly, the wreck didn't look like it had just happened, but I knew something was wrong in my gut. I pulled my phone out and called 911 as I kept driving, not fully processing that this had just happened. 911. This is 911. What's your emergency? Me. Hey, I'm driving down blank road near blank, and I just passed a blue car flipped upside down, and it looks like they ran into a tree. There wasn't anyone visible near the car and no other cars around. I'm not sure if I was the first person on the scene or what. 911. What is your exact location? Is there a house close to the wreck? Try to find the nearest address. I am sending an ambulance out now. Was anyone visibly hurt or present at the scene? No, I didn't see anyone when I passed, but I'm not sure. I didn't get a good look. I'm about 2 minutes down the road past the car now, so let me turn around and go back. I have my 3-year-old little girl in the car with me, just letting you know. I don't necessarily want her to hear or see anything traumatizing, but I'll do what I need to do if I find anyone. The car looked super bad. 911. It's okay. Don't get out of the car. Keep your doors locked. Just see if you can find the nearest address, was first to arrive on the scene. I was scared, but in action mode, ready to deal with what I was potentially about to see inside the vehicle. When I got to the house I thought was closest to the wreck, the conversation picked back up with the operator. Me. Okay, I think I am almost to the car. I see a mailbox coming up right here, hang on. Okay, it's blank road. That is the house a little less than a mile from the car. I am headed from blank going towards blank, and I see a car. I see the car right here coming up on my left across from a sand pit looking area. It is a blue, older, 4-door car. 911. Okay, great. An ambulance was just dispatched. It won't be long before they get there. Do you see anyone in or near the vehicle? Me. Oh my god. Wait. Yes. I see a man around 25 to 30. He is standing in the middle of the road. I pull up next to the man with my doors locked, rolled my windows down with the phone still to my ear, and 911 listening to me speak. I immediately say, "Oh my god, are you okay? Is that your car?" The guy is slurring his words a little, clearly very injured, but still standing and not in critical condition. He says, "Yeah, I'm fine." That's when I notice a large wound on the side of his head with blood all over it. I say, "Oh my god, you're bleeding. You aren't okay." Excuse me. I'm on the phone with 911 right now. They are sending an ambulance. Don't move. I hear the 911 operator asking me if he was okay or if he was hurt in my ear. I say no, he isn't. He is bleeding from his head, but he is standing in the road. I see the guy's face go from concerned about getting help to fully panicked and flat. He says, "Is that 911 on the phone? Hang up. I need you to drive me up the road right now. Hang up the phone." The operator hears him say this and she says, "Is your daughter in the vehicle with you?" I say, "Yes. I can't drive this man anywhere. I am not letting him in my car, especially with my little girl in here." Meanwhile, my daughter is silent in the back seat, taking everything happening in. That's when I look down and notice that this man isn't wearing shoes. He is standing with bare feet, and there is a large wet stain on his blue jeans, which I immediately realize is pee. I can smell alcohol on him, and he isn't even standing that close to me. I work in the medical field, and I deal with traumatic brain injury patients often, so I immediately wondered if he maybe had some kind of brain damage from the impact, and I began telling the operator, "Oh no, he isn't okay. I think he is hurt." I look at the man, staying as calm and matter-of-fact as I can, and tell him, "I am so sorry, but I can't drive you anywhere. My little girl is in the back seat, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. I didn't see anyone in the vehicle when I passed, so I had already called 911. I think you need to let them come. I can't let you in my car, but I will park over here and make sure you are okay until they get here." The man is visibly panicked and now pissed off. He starts yelling, "Tell them not to fucking come. Hang up the phone." My heart. I don't know if I'm gonna leave that in or not. My fart. That was funny. Okay, I'm literally a child. My heart literally stopped beating. I began slowly and gently pressing the gas, rolling past him to indicate I am leaving. The 911 operator in my ear says, "Pretend to tell me not to come. Pretend to hang up with me, but keep me on the line." So that is exactly what I do. Me. "Hey, I think he is okay. He says he doesn't need any medical help. He lives really close to here. So actually don't send the ambulance out. Sorry for the miscommunication. Okay. Thanks so much." Fake hang up. I set my phone face down in the passenger seat and tell him that I was going to go now, but that I hoped he was going to be okay. That's when I notice his pocket bulging with something silver peeking out. I knew right then that this man was armed and I had to get the hell out of there. I smiled and said I was sorry I couldn't help, then quickly rolled my window up and sped off, turning around further down the road and passing him again at 65 to 70 miles per hour on a 45-mile-per-hour road. I was crying hysterically, and I pick up the phone to tell the 911 operator what had just happened. She said, "It's okay. You did the right thing. You played it cool satisfied and smiled, continuing to listen to the music and sing when I turned the radio back on. A terrifying and creepy ass encounter, to say the least. Good on them for how they handled it. I feel like in those situations, like, your adrenaline has to be like so high, because you don't come across these things often. I feel like I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, one time I saw somebody laying on the sidewalk, like when I was on my way home from work, and like they were just laying there, and I was like in the car with my fiance, and I was like, sorry, the air's kicking on, but I was like, should I call the cops? Like, what if that person's like dead? I mean, you just like, you just don't know what to do, because you're not used to seeing these things. It's like a shock, and you're like your brain just stops working. So good for her for the way she handled that. Police and like an ambulance came up like as I was saying that, so somebody must have like seen it before me. By the way, I didn't just like, oh well, hopefully they're okay. I was like, okay, thank God, when I saw them pulling up, because I was like, what should I do? Anyways, last story is from Let's Not Meet, and the title is "What Was She Planning to Do to Me?" by the user Kenny C5576, and I really hope I haven't read this before on here. I don't think I have. If I have, sorry, you get to hear it again. Okay. One time I went to the bar with one of my friends. I had just turned 21, so I haven't been to bars much up to that point. My friend was drinking on the way to the bar, so he was already pretty drunk when we got there. When I sat at the bar, a cute girl came and talked to me and my friend, and she said her name was Candace, and I noticed that she had really, really bright red hair. I assumed she dyed it. It was pretty, but unnatural. Anyways, this girl was flirting with me and my friend. She could tell my friend was already very drunk. To be honest, I played along like I was drunk already too, since it seemed to be working for my friend. I didn't know if she was just trying to get free drinks, so I told her we didn't have much money, and she offered to buy us drinks. She kept buying us drinks, and I started to get confused as to who she liked between me and my friend. My friend went to the bathroom. Before he came back, he was kicked out by the bouncers. He was too drunk. Candace and I went outside with him. She kept telling him to go home with her. He was so out of it that he could barely answer her. I told her that he was too drunk and that I couldn't let him go anywhere. I didn't want him to wake up hungover in some random house with no car and no idea what happened. Candace kept pushing it, saying that she would take care of him, but I told her no, because I had to stay with him. I was more sober than him, and he was my responsibility. I told her the only way he was going anywhere was if I tagged along. I assumed she thought that I was jealous or cock-blocking, but my friend could barely stand and lost interest in Candace already at that point. She immediately started flirting with me and offered to get my friend a taxi to drive home and said we could go to her place alone. At this point, I had a few drinks and I was pretty buzzed, so I agreed. We took my friend to the taxi and walked to her car. I slightly stumbled on the way to her car. "Wow, you're pretty drunk, huh?" she said, smiling as she held onto my arm. "Yeah," I said. I don't know why, but I just felt slightly shy and anxious. Everything was just happening too easy for me, so I felt uneasy. We got in her car and drove down the street. "Want to stop at the liquor store and get some more to drink? I'll buy it, so don't worry about paying," she offered. I didn't want to drink any more than I already did. I was already buzzed and wanted to be able to carry myself throughout the rest of the night. Sometimes I made myself look stupid when I'm drunk, so I didn't want to ruin anything with Candace more than I already did earlier with telling her my friend was too drunk. I told her I was already drunk enough, but she insisted. I didn't want to seem lame, so I just told her to get me a pint of liquor with some apple juice to chase it. She went in the store and came out with a lot more than just a pint. I assumed she wanted to drink more also, and that's why she got a fifth instead of a pint. On the car ride, we passed the bottle back and forth, but she took tiny sips. I tried to take tiny sips, but she kept passing me the bottle and telling me to drink. spitting the liquor in the apple juice bottle. I tossed the apple juice bottle full of liquor out of the window before she saw it. I didn't want her to know that I was acting drunker than I was. She actually believed I was sloppy drunk when I was simply buzzed. I took a couple more sips of liquor and finished the bottle. Throughout the car ride, I called her the wrong name a couple of times to get a reaction out of her. She didn't react to it. She just kept letting me call her Carla without correcting me. For some reason, I thought she lied to me about her name initially. We drove up to her house. I pretended to trip and stumble into her front door. She helped me walk inside by holding me up. She opened her front door, which was unlocked, and we walked into her house. She closed her front door and then locked it. I thought that was strange, but assumed she didn't want anyone walking in on us. I told her that I had to use the bathroom. I walked into her bathroom, locked the door, and looked into the mirror. I just felt strange. I felt like something was off. I felt myself becoming more drunk. From finishing the bottle earlier, I turned on the sink to make noise and made myself puke up the liquor that I had drank. I flushed and went to the sink and started drinking the tap water out of my hands to sober up. I just didn't want to be drunk, but I still wanted to hook up with Candace, so I wanted to pretend to be drunk. I turned the sink off and I could hear her talking to someone. He's drunk as hell. He can barely stand up. You do it. Who was she talking to? And do what? I walked out of the bathroom and into the living room. The moment I stepped into the living room, I saw her walking into another room. All I could see was the back of her head. That strange, very bright red hair go into another room. I didn't see her face or anything. I just saw her kind of walk fast into the room. The living room was pretty dark. Hey, where are you going? I slurred like I was drunk. She walked back into the dark living room and up to me and said, let's go in my room. I looked at her bright red hair and then into her eyes. They were different. Her face was different. It was another girl with the same hair. That's when I realized it was another girl with the same wig on. It was a wig the whole time. She had changed it with the girl from earlier for whatever reason. My heart felt like it stopped, but I tried to look like I had no idea it was a different girl. I kind of smiled at her and told her I just needed to use the bathroom one more time and told her sorry, I was just so drunk. She said it's fine, just hurry up in there. I went into the bathroom and locked the door. I heard her whisper something to someone again this time. I think I heard a male voice whisper back. I honestly didn't concentrate on listening to exactly what she said. Something sketchy was going on and I had to get out of that house. I opened the bathroom window and jumped straight out of it and ran faster than I ever have in my life. I didn't look behind myself or anything. I just ran through the backyard, jumped the fence, ran through someone else's backyard, hit a road, and ran toward the main road. I kept running down the main road until I saw a 24-hour convenience store, and I ran in and stood straight at the front of the store in front of the camera. I called a taxi and went home. I tried to think of what happened that night. What was she or they planning? Why did she tell me a fake name? Why was she trying to get my friend and I so drunk? I thought maybe a robbery, but she kept spending money on us. She kept buying us drinks and even paid for my friend's taxi cab. And mostly, why did she wear a wig that she gave to another girl to wear? Who was she talking to? What did it mean? And what was in the room they tried to lure me into? Edit. The next day, after this incident, I went back to the house with a couple of friends just to see what was going on. Nobody was there. No cars, no people, nothing. Just an empty house. I ended up finding out that the house was a summer rental, and whoever those people were, they had broke into that house and used it for only that night and never came back. That one creeps me the hell out. Because you just never know what someone's intentions are. And there was definitely something weird and sketchy about that situation. And he never saw a male, with his own eyes, but he thought he heard them speaking. So where were they? If they were in there, what were they gonna do to him? Were they gonna kill him? The not knowing would freak me out. I'm sure his fight or flight kicked right in, and thank God he could get out of the bathroom window. Because I think about my bathroom you can leave them below. And I will try to get on that soon as well. Alright. I will see you all in my next video.